There's one thing that I'm discovering, that people are more multi-ethnic in friendship and workplaces than we think they are. I think it's actually that people were mono-ethnic in their churches and the friends that they developed in their churches, but in their workplaces and other places it was very multi-ethnic to start out with. And so we know that's the case in Skid Row. There is no better racial reconciliation and relationship going on, in my opinion, than among peoples of Skid Row. Between African Americans and Caucasians and Latinos and Asians, whoever, when they're homeless together, it almost doesn't feel like they're different racially. There is a tremendous amount of closeness and camaraderie. And so we knew that, because I experienced that as I was ministering in Skid Row. There's a lot of interracial couples in Skid Row, for example. And then among the loft dwellers, man, people are all over the place these days. So I see a church like ours as just merely reflecting what's going on, not only in this community, but in our workplaces. And I think it's tremendously important to do that. You know, one of the things that I had to struggle with when I was struggling through the model for the church and all that was all of the emphasis that I've heard on the homogeneous union principle as a principle of church planning. And, you know, it came out of Fuller a while back ago and did awesome things. But it made me struggle a lot because I felt like maybe this is not going to work, you know. But I came to a point where I felt that this was the context. If I was in a community, you know, if I was in a certain area, if I was Caucasian and ministering in a certain part of America where it's all white, you know, that's who you minister to. But if I'm in downtown Los Angeles, the context demands the diversity. And so it was a slam dunk issue. And when I really thought about it in a commonsensical way, it was this multi-socioeconomic that I just thought it was crazy, but felt compelled by God and we went ahead with it anyway, because I felt like that was at the heart of God. And it was something that context demanded, and I felt like it was theologically, biblically beautiful, because that's what I saw the early church like. You know, the best of the early church had slaves and masters worshiping together, Gentiles and Jews worshiping together. And I often try to imagine what kind of community that was like. I mean, what kind of glue could bring those kinds of people together? And the more and more I experienced this, more and more I realized that the gospel of Jesus Christ has tremendous power to bring people together.